I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done and make sure it's broke. When I'm going, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up or mess up the scene I set. I like to stand in the crowd and watch the people wonder, damn, just think about it, then you understand. I'm just an addict, addicted to music. Maybe it's a habit, I gotta use it. I love Jimi Hendrix, and the other day when I was in the car, so every time me and Gunner are in the car together, like one of our biggest bonding, something that we bond the most over is like what music is playing on the speakers in the car. And sometimes like me and him, like our taste for the day is literally like in sync to the point where it's almost like I know exactly what he want to hear and he knows exactly what I want to hear. I mean, even though at the end of the day, it's my choice. But I do give him some freedom to select what we hear. And so some days I could put on, for example, he loves Eric B. and Rakim, and he loves Nas, which happen to be, you know, obviously some of my favorites in hip hop too. So when I put that on, he's rocking out to it, and he actually knows a lot of the words. And I consider myself to be a pretty big music aficionado. But some days, because I think my musical taste is so expansive and eclectic and deep, I'll listen to something that like strays way left from the norm. So Jimi Hendrix, for example, one of the greatest guitarists, rock stars of all time, and I happen to be a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, not just because of his music, but also because of like the energy and the spirit that he channeled through his music and his like his creativity, all that. A lot of reasons why I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan. But I found out the other day that while me and Gunner do have a lot of musical tastes in common, we also disagree on a lot of them too, because as soon as I put Jimi Hendrix on, I usually look in the rearview mirror in the back to see like what his facial expressions is or what his reactions are to whatever I put on the radio. And when I put that Jimi Hendrix on, he just was like, "Good, like I don't like what the hell is that?" And I look back at him through the mirror. I was like, "You don't like that?" He said, "No, I don't like the way that sounds." So at that moment, because I am such a huge music fan, and because me and Gunner have such a close bond, my original or my natural reaction was to try to like put him into a box and explain to him why he should like Jimi Hendrix. But then it dawned on me that like one of the things that I value the most as being a single dad or a dad, just a parent period, is encouraging independent and free thought within my son. So that was like a critical moment for me to choose not to force my own likes or dislikes onto him and allow him to be expressive and have his own opinion about stuff and, you know, form his own taste in music. And that transcends beyond just our taste in music. This could be everything from like religious beliefs, for example. I know that, and I please like don't. Well, you might get offended. You know, if you get offended, I'm sorry. But some parents force their religious beliefs onto their kids too, because it's quite possible that their parents force their religious beliefs on them, and they think that that's just the natural progression to grow as an individual or as a person, especially when you bring another life into this world, is to then essentially force your religious beliefs onto your kids too. But I personally super disagree with that. Now I know there's really no right or wrong way to raise a kid. However, I know that for me growing up, there was a lot of things that I was afraid to do or apprehensive to do because I was more concerned with, what my parents' reaction would be, or their level of acceptance of what I did or chose to believe in. And that they didn't like force any type of religious belief, and they really, I don't think, intentionally forced anything onto me growing up. But as a parent, I think it's, if you're not acutely mindful of not forcing your ways or ideas or values or beliefs onto your kids, it's very easy for that to happen without you even knowing it. And that kind of happened to me growing up, where I repetitively, or I saw my parents do so many things repetitively, or hold high value towards something, that I automatically absorbed that as the standard and kind of adopted it as my own beliefs or values, even if at that time, like, my natural mind was to question, why do I believe in this, or why is this that way, or why is that this way. It was just natural for me to take on the ways of my parents. Or for some people, they might not be being raised by their parents, but they're raised by grandparents or whoever your primary caretaker is. It's easy to absorb their beliefs and kind of disregard your own freedom of thought and why you actually believe in those things. So, circling back to the whole Jimmy, I know I went down a rabbit hole, but circling back to the whole Jimi Hendrix thing on the radio, I was actually proud of myself that I was mindful of making sure that I didn't tell Gunner why he should like Jimi Hendrix. Because I don't want him to feel that same feeling that many of us have probably felt growing up, which was being confined to a box, or being labeled and being expected to act a certain way or believe in certain things in accordance with the status quo, and being afraid that you might disappoint somebody because you stray off the path a little bit. And hopefully I get more opportunity. I mean, I know I'm going to get more opportunities to do that with Gunner when it comes to music, because it's just, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm 28 years older than my son, so the generational difference is going to be natural, that we're just going to have different tastes in music and certain things. But aside from the music, I hope, or I'm looking forward to having more of these moments where I might find out that Gunner either questions something that I believe in, or questions something that everybody else chooses to believe in, and take that as a teaching moment for him to investigate why he would choose to or not to believe in whatever those things are, and hope that as he grows and evolves and develops as a human being and as a person, for one, he never feels entitled to force his ideas or thoughts or beliefs onto, when he has kids or just friends or whoever. Just, I want him to be to embrace the collective difference amongst, like, different tastes in different human beings, because we're all different at the end of the day. And I don't want him to feel like because somebody's different that they're not normal. Like, we all have our own standards of normal, if that makes any sense, and you get to define that. So I want to make sure that he never feels entitled to do that to anybody else. And then for two, I just want him to, like, really understand and absorb himself into growing as an independent, free thinking person, because I cannot stress enough how important that is for you to live a fulfilled life, to just be your own person, kind of go off the beaten path. I think that's a saying that people say. But to have the courage to do that. And if you haven't been exposed to somebody that encourages you to have that courage to do that, it's highly possible that it's going to take you years and years and years and years later for you to finally build up that courage to do it. Then you're going to be feeling like you're making up for lost time. So I think that the earlier I can expose that to my kid, to Gunner, the better, so that is his normal. I'm gonna leave it there. Y'all, let y'all kids be themselves. Let y'all kids find their own voice and develop into being their own person. And we'll just have a world full of beautiful, eclectic creatives and shit like that. Alright, I'm gonna let y'all go now, but not for too long. Make sure y'all come back for the next video. But in the meantime, if you want to reach out to us, if you want us to talk about a topic that you're interested in hearing our perspective on, shoot us an email. Our email address is theviewtur@gmail.com, or you could shoot me a text directly at 414-292-7258. Shoot me any ideas. If you just want to chop it up about what you just saw, if you want to chop it up about anything, love to communicate with our viewers, because y'all the reason why we do this stuff. So, peace out. See y'all next time.
Subscribe.